how to create impactful moments. So, this is an interesting topic because I feel like you have to be a certain kind of chronotype to even want to do this. I think if you take the personalities test, if you take the 16 personalities test, you'll probably end up being like a console or something similar to that. So, you gotta be a specific chronotype, a specific personality type to really have the desire to want to create meaningful, impactful moments for people. But if you are anything like that, then this video is for you because I'm kind of like that, and this has been my experience, and this has been the principles and the things that I've done to create some of these moments a little bit better in my life, to create a little bit more impact within these moments, even if things didn't work out as I initially planned them to, even if I didn't feel super excited or zealous about planning the thing, it still ends up being somewhat impactful because of these principles. So let's dive in. First thing is to plan some more, right? When you think about what it takes to have an impact, right, in anything, right? Think about speeches, think presentations, think events, right? Performances. To have an impact, like the amount of preparation that goes into every single detail, from the venue to the songs to the vibes to the food to the theme to every little detail of the event, right? Everything needs to be planned, right? There needs to be like multiple people working together to plan out different parts and make sure that they all mesh together in a way that makes sense. And most of the time, when it doesn't work out that way, it's typically not because of just one person, but because a group of people didn't create the impact. And so the impact, it's like kind of like a domino effect. When one part of the machine isn't running, whenever one aspect of your moment isn't cooking, then the moment kind of loses its touch, right? So that's why it's so important to plan some more. You need to be able to look at these things that you need to do, these tasks that you need to plan out beforehand, and figure out, okay, I know I need to do these. How can I do them in the best way possible? How can I efficiently plan these so that no matter what could possibly go wrong, we are still going to be okay? Like, no matter how wrong this could go, we can still have some impact, right? And so that's what planning allows you to do. It allows you to build a framework that you can follow without having to guess, and it basically takes any of the guesswork and any of the chance, or as much of the chance, out of creating the moment as possible. Because what you want to focus on is just delivering, right? You want to focus on delivering the impact in the moment, and you don't want to have any external variables to influence that. So you're basically trying to minimize the variables that you have to face along the way. So to do this, to create these impactful moments, how do we take that next stage, right? Next step after we've planned, after we've put in the work to make sure that everything meshes together. What's next? You need to make sure that the moment, right? You need to pick a energy and a vibe that you resonate with, right? So like a moment that moves you, right? Because a lot of people think about creating an event, creating a venue, creating a moment, creating a performance that impresses the crowd, wows the crowd, and they overly obsess over it, and they make sure that it's so tailored specifically for them. And that is an amazing trait. That is very important to do. But I think that a very good, easy cheat code that you can use is to create a moment that moves you, right? If the performance or the venue or the presentation genuinely makes you feel something inside, it makes you feel like, hell yeah, like that I did that, or like this feels amazing, right? Like whenever you rewatch it over in your head, or just rewatch it, right? When you replay it, the outcomes of doing the events in your head, and you see what it would feel like and it resonates with you, then that is bonus points, because then you have the sort of conviction. You're like, you can rally behind what you've created because you resonate with it. So this is kind of like an extra little flair on top, right? If you also resonate with what is being presented or performed in that moment, then it is so much more likely to go right, and because you have such a conviction and such a belief in that moment. So create the moments that would move you. The next principle is to be decisive and have conviction. So like we were talking just now about conviction. If you're like the host, or if you're like the performer, or you're creating the moment for people and you're like also a part of the moment, you need to have an undeniable, almost delusional amount of conviction for what you're doing, right? So like if you are performing, then no matter how anxious you feel, no matter how self-conscious you feel, no matter how mediocre you feel, you need to just show up anyway, no matter how stupid you look, and just like have conviction and an incredible amount of belief in what you're doing, right? Because people that lack the conviction, lack the confidence, people can tell, and that soils the moment, right? It soils the awe-inspiring aspects of the moment, because people can sense that you're not fully into it, so they won't get fully into it. But if you become the guy to hype everybody up, that everyone can rally behind, that brings the energy up across the entire room, right? Then it's very difficult to not create impact in some way. Like, this is the most direct way you can do it. You can almost use this as a safety net, or as like a safety valve, to really force some energy and vibe into an event or a performance. You can literally be out there amongst the crowd and just hyping things up, like this one is completely within your hands. You have control and agency over making sure that this works, right? This is up to you. So if you can be decisive, if you can be the guy that's making the decisions quickly, taking a risk, right, without holding back, without hesitating, and then behaving with conviction and so much self-belief in the moment, because you made this moment for you and also them, that it just really has an incredible impact. And then the final thing is to inject emotion, right? You want to be able to make people feel something, and this also goes back to making yourself feel something, right? You want to create a moment that makes you feel something, so that whenever you showcase it and deliver it to the world and to your audience, they feel something as well. So you need to inject emotion in there. And how do you actually do that? It really comes down to you and the messaging and the energy and the vibe. It's not just like, you can't just inject emotion with one little pill, right? It's an aggregation of all of the aspects of the environment, of you, how you present yourself, how you present the thing, how the environment makes the audience feel. All of these things come together, mesh together to create an atmosphere. And in this atmosphere, if you deliver your presentation or your performance in the right way, then you will naturally evoke emotion, right? People will remember what this experience was like, right? And so you have an awesome atmosphere, you have some conviction, you have taken some risk, and you are able to create emotion through your performance or through your presentation, because you have reframed the underlying motivation for the thing to be almost selfish, because it makes you feel something, because it means something to you, and you've planned it out sufficiently. You've planned, you made sure that all the different pieces mesh together. Then you will create impactful moments, right? People will remember these moments. They might not remember that you were the one that did it, that you were the one that created the moment, but you know that you created this amazing moment that people will remember for the rest of their lives. And that is one of the best feelings in the world. Goodbye.